Here's our readings, everyone. Good morning. 24th Sunday in Ordinary Time. From the prophet Isaiah. The Lord God opens my ear that I may hear, and I have not rebelled, have not turned back. I gave my back to those who beat me, my cheeks to those who plucked my beard. My face I did not shield from buffets and spitting. The Lord God is my help. Therefore I am not disgraced. I have set my face like flint, knowing that I shall not be put to shame. He is near who upholds my right. If anyone wishes to oppose me, let us appear together. Who disputes my right? Let that man confront me. See, the Lord God is my help. Who will prove me wrong? The word of the Lord. Our second reading from the book of James. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister has nothing to wear and has no food for the day, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, keep warm and eat well," but you do not give them the necessities of the body, what good is it? So also faith of itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Indeed, someone might say, "You have faith and I have works. Demonstrate your faith to me without works, and I will demonstrate my faith to you from my works." The word of the Lord. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus and his disciples set out for the villages of Caesarea Philippi. Along the way he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" They said in reply, "John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others one of the prophets." And he asked them, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter said in reply, "You are the Christ." Then he warned them not to tell anyone about him. He began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer greatly and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed, and rise after 3 days. He spoke this openly. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. At this he turned around, and looking at his disciples, rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do." He summoned the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake, and that of the gospel, will save it." The gospel of the Lord. I have spent the last few days listening to all the talks and all the interviews from 9/11, 20 years later. It was very moving for me because at the time of 9/11, 2001, I was in New Milford, Connecticut. I had been asked to go to the hospital to anoint a woman's son who was getting ready for surgery. And while I was there, it was on the TV. One of the towers was smoking, and I thought of fire. And as I watched it, I actually saw the second plane come into the other building. And I let out a yell, and the doctors and nurses came in from the station to see what it was about. It's a whole time of never forgetting what happened so long ago, to recognize that evil won that day, but that it doesn't win all the time, and it can't win overall. It was a time of listening to people who talked about their loved ones. One story of a wife who called her husband to tell him that their daughter was sick in school and he had to leave the building to go take care of her. He was saved that day. To look at what happened, to know the 3 planes that were set up to destroy this country, 2 into the towers and 1 into the White House. But the people on that plane going to the White House wouldn't let that happen. And they took over the plane and crashed it to prevent that damage. It showed me the resilience of Americans. We united that day like we're not today, anywhere in this country. And that's something we have to look at. But it was an important time and a special anniversary for all those people who lost loved ones, husbands, wives, relatives, friends, workers, the firefighters, the police who rushed into those buildings, not knowing they were going to die. But it also reminded me, because none of those people got up that day and went off on their daily routines, who had to fly, who had to go to the Twin Towers to work, knowing that this was going to be my last day. Jesus asks his disciples this question in the gospel: who do you say that I am? Because he wants to know from them. They'll need to keep that in mind when he's no longer with them, which would happen after he dies on the cross. We need to understand that every day of our lives and whatever we do could be our last. Those who are firefighters, those who are police, have to know that every day they go out could be their last. It's not something we want to think about, but it's real. We remember that day 20 years ago. We keep that in mind. We remember our unity and hopefully get back to one nation, always under God. Have a good week, everyone. God bless. Stay safe.